Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, as usual, Adam Krautwurst, and with me tonight is a friend of mine who's twinsing with me tonight. The backwards hat, the black shirt. This was not planned, folks. This was not planned. Stacy Perez. Stacy, what's going on?
I am great. How do you know it wasn't planned, Adam? I think while I was deciding what to wear tonight, I was like, you know what? I need to go. I've never worn a backwards hat ever in my life.
All those hats behind you? No backwards hatting? No?
These are just for display only.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
These are stadiums I've been to. So that's what those are. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna rock a backwards hat today. That's what I'm doing.
That is right. You planned it. I didn't plan it. Yes, that's right. Stacy doesn't she doesn't go to court with the backwards hat on every day. For sure. Ooh, it's a whole different vibe. I love it. But thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Hey, listen, you're the first guest, the first show of the year for the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast. I'm so happy to be back and doing this draft week. I mean, one of the best weeks of the year. No, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Best week of the year. One of the best week. I mean, you think you got to put Super Bowl up there. You got to put some other things. But man, draft week, I'm just so excited to finally get some finality, just end the speculation of where these guys are going to go and just, get some landing spots nailed down so I can, feel like I'm out of this limbo that I've been living in for the past, few months.
I know. I've been doing some shows kind of all around the internet, and it's just I feel like I can't even give people good, concrete fantasy information. Obviously, we can talk about the prospects like we're going to do tonight, but as far as who to draft, we don't know yet. We don't know. There's going to be trades of players. We don't know. So this week we'll finalize some stuff and then we can really dive into that. But yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and in the chat, hop in the chat. If you type in LAD, LADD, like Lad McConkey, my guy, in the chat, you will have a drawing to win a $50 team this Friday, $50 entry into the best ball draft over at the FFWC. So that'd be good. Put Lad in the chat. And we'll bring it up a couple times tonight. But best ball is one of your things, right, Stace? You're diving in this year.
Dude, I love best ball so much. So I'm doing a show right now with Club Fantasy, and we're doing a best ball, kind of like a intro to best ball for those folks that don't really know too much about best ball, that are just kind of getting into it and want to really know how to play. So we just started that last week. I'm going to try. There's a underdog war room out, and hopefully it won't fill before tomorrow when we do our show. It's going to be our last draft before the actual draft. So
there you go. It's amazing to me how many we're sickos, right? We're drafting all year, and we're all the people that we surround ourselves with are sickos, and everyone's drafting and talking. But my normal friends, wait, you're drafting now, or wait, what's best ball? I don't even really. Yeah. It's amazing how many people don't really even know what that. Wait, you have 500 teams? What is that? Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, and you're 500 man. I gotta up my numbers here.
I'm not even worried about teams. I'm worried about player ownership. I'm oh my god, I got to get some more Lad McConkey.
Exactly. Got to get my exposure rates up over here. Then we're, it sounds like we're talking Chinese to people. But yeah, you're right. I mean, all my normie friends have no idea what best ball is. And that's kind of what made me say okay, let's do something for those people that maybe they don't have time to do a redraft and invest, all the managing and waivers and everything like that, but they still want to play fantasy. Let me tell you about best ball. Best ball is for you if that's your situation, So, but yeah, I mean, dude, we've been drafting since Super Bowl weekend.
Yo,
and we're
big time draft. I'm embarrassed to say how much that draft cost on Super Bowl weekend. The one that I did. Oh my god, $1,000 entry on Super Bowl. I'm talking about people that know what they're talking about. And I'm drafting for the next season. But
you know what though? I always do better in those. The last few seasons where I've done the best in my fantasy has been those ones that I've drafted pre-draft. And I don't know what that means.
Shoot from the hip,
Yeah. But those are what, seem to do the best for me the last couple years. So I'm going to keep doing them until it doesn't work out anymore.
You like making the ADP. You don't like following the ADP.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I want to set that ADP.
That's right. That should be a t-shirt for the expo. Set the ADP. Come on.
Somebody make that. Somebody's listening tonight who's making shirts. Make that, bring it to the expo, and you could sell a ton of them.
For sure. But yeah, for people who are just getting into best ball, this was not a best ball show, but we'll talk best ball for a second. Google it, because there's so many different ways to play and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely play best ball at the FFWC Fantasy Football World Championships for sure. But it's basically like a set it and forget it. You draft your roster. There's no lineup setting. There is no trading. There's no waivers. There's nothing. So you can literally the only time it takes to run the team is the time it takes to actually draft the team. So you can draft as many or as little as you want, and you sit back and you just watch your teams crumble over the course of the year or rise to the top. But it's
positive, rise to the top.
That's right. It's definitely the most common as far as amount of drafts over the course of the year that people do is best ball. Wouldn't you think?
Well, I do. I think so. And I think so, it's so fun and easy. And there's so many different ways to play that, say you get in a draft and you hate your draft, do another one.
Immediately.
Do another one immediately. You can knock these out. I always tell people, and everybody laughs at me, but last season I got so into doing best ball drafts. I mean, they'll take about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I'm sitting getting my nails done. Okay. I'm in the pedicure chair and I'm ripping off a couple best ball manias, just like a little machine,
That's
there
right.
is that thing. And it doesn't take that much time, but just keep doing them until you feel, good about yourself. I just keep doing them because I can't quit. Cause I guess does that make me a best ball addict?
Yes. And I don't think you ever feel good. The more you draft, you definitely don't feel better about yourself. No. You definitely feel worse. I'm trying to think of the comparison for me. I don't get my nails done, but what would be maybe I'm watching my kids' soccer game. That's probably the closest thing I'll get to that. But yes, best ball season is here, and it's definitely going to be kicking up after the NFL draft this weekend. But let's talk some prospects for this week. Tons of people we could talk about, obviously. But you have a quarterback that you'd like to discuss, yes?
Yeah. So, look, we already know about Caleb Williams. If I hear the word generational talent one more time, I think I'm going to pass out. And look, I like Jaden Daniels too. He's a fun one. But I think, who deserves talking about is JJ McCarthy here, right? That's kind of what I want to know. Where is he going to go? I like the rumors of him going to Minnesota. I think that's a good fit for him there. Here's what I kind of liked about him. So really great completion percentage, 72.1, third overall out of the entire 2024 draft class quarterback. He can scoot, he's a scrambler. He's got speed. He's got acceleration. He's quick. He can change direction. Yeah. Is he a little skinny? Sure. But that can be fixed. He's got good height and, he's pretty accurate. Throws a pretty accurate deep ball. He was, let's see, where's my little stats here? He had 10 touchdowns on plays with more than 20 air yards. Great arm strength, low sack rate, probably had a lot to do with that line there at Michigan. And he's not afraid to just YOLO it, which I love. I love a good YOLO ball. It probably explains why I'm a big Jameis fan.
Yes.
But, I listen, I think JJ McCarthy's getting a little, people are not so excited about him, but I think there's a lot to be excited about here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think coming from the Harbaugh world too, I mean, certainly playing under Harbaugh can't hurt. Harbaugh, he's just, kind of pumping his guy up, but he's like, oh, that's the best pro day I've ever seen. Or that's the best combine I've ever seen. He's probably pumping his guy up, but again,
he should say that though. That's his coach, man. He should say that about his guy.
For sure. But I think being in that offense with that coach, I mean, it was run heavy. I get it, but a little bit of pro style. And listen, a lot of his cons can be fixed, right? Shaky decision making. You can fix that. Throws bad picks. That's part of the decision making, right? That was one of the knocks on Josh Allen. Oh, Josh Allen was inaccurate in college. No, he was just a bad decision maker, right? Yeah. You got to stop throwing it into triple coverage and trying to do it all. So, like you said, he's mobile. He's got the quick release. He's 6'3". He's got that kind of prototypical size. Mm-hmm. So I like him. I don't think he's the first quarterback. I don't think he's the second quarterback. No. But I think that he can certainly be a guy worth trading up for. Especially if your starting quarterback is Zach Wilson.
Oh
I think
my gosh.
McCarthy's probably what a disaster.
Can
Go
we
ahead.
talk about that for a second?
Yes, talk
Oh
about
my
that.
God. To Denver. Like who is on there? Jarrett Stidham. Who
Ugh.
else is on their depth chart right now? I'm gonna pull it up because it's somebody else who's not.
It should be JJ McCarthy soon or somebody. Drake May. It's got to be somebody. It can't be.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they got listen, at least the Jets are paying what half the guy's salary, and it's like a swap.
Ben DiNucci.
Who?
So we got Zach Wilson, Jared Stidham, and Ben DiNucci on the depth chart for Denver.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's time to trade up, come up and get JJ McCarthy for sure. But no, I think he'll be a nice. His ceiling's capped, but I think he'll be a nice NFL caliber QB for sure. For sure. We brought up the Zach Wilson name on Scott's show. Oh God, Scott, I'm so sorry. Watch your. It's been so long.
He loves Zach Wilson.
Jets fan. Scott's a Jets fan. I know.
I'm sorry, Scott.
I know it's rough. It's rough on the show for sure.
Well, you know what I was thinking about McCarthy too. You know, like first off, I heard that Kevin O'Connell apparently is referred to as KOC, which I just love. I think that's hilarious. What a funny little nickname for him. But like if he does go to I'm hyping him up to go to Minnesota now. I just really am going to be disappointed if he goes anywhere but Minnesota.
Yeah.
But like what a great spot for him to land into.
I know.
Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson when he comes back. You know, and then you've got some other guys there, some other pieces. But I mean, I guess they're doing pretty well by Caleb Williams if when he goes to Chicago with putting pieces around him. But beyond that, like, is there a better place to land than Minnesota right now? If you're
no, they're loaded for sure.
Come on.
I know. That's what's interesting. Usually these teams that pick at the top, they're so bad, but you know, these teams that don't have a quarterback have done pretty good about getting the other pieces first and then get look at the Niners. I mean, Brock Purdy. Anyone really think Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate? Like, no, the guy's you couldn't ask for better weapons and an elite line. So yeah, no, I think it'll be a good landing spot for any quarterback for sure. And this would be the year to do it, to move up and get the quarterback because there's so many like good ones. Quotes for sure.
I want to see that happen in the worst way. I need Minnesota to move up and go get them some JJ McCarthy.
There you go. All right, the QB I want to talk about. It's a guy that's high on the list, but I just want to like put my stamp. Jaden Daniels is a guy that I am, especially for fantasy. I'm so excited about Jaden Daniels. He, you know, everybody knows he's electric, right? Elite rushing, and the thing that I love about him the most is his 55 college starts. Like that's so big.
Right.
Especially in today's game. A lot of these QBs are coming out early or more early. He's a little bit older, obviously injuries, but I think being 23 years old, but that can help. That's a position that you don't mind a little extra time there in learning. Yeah, right. Exactly. Unless, you know, the team around him was loaded. Yes. But you could see the explosiveness there and his deep ball touch. You know what? You know, I'm not like a person that creates like rookie scouting profiles, but I love when I go on and watch a player play and I'm like, man, his deep ball is unbelievable. And then I go and I start to scout him and look at what other people are saying. And like the top thing, deep ball accuracy, okay, good. I'm not crazy. So I just think for his sake, I hope he doesn't land in Washington for his sake, but I think, I mean, they do have some weapons there, but I just don't trust the organization, even though it's had some turnover there at the 100%, administration perspective. But I just think he can be, for sure, the number one QB in this class, fantasy-wise, coming out. He's got Lamar Jackson written all over him, and I think he's a better passer than Lamar was in college. Go ahead.
No, I think so too. I mean, he's just such a fun, dynamic player to watch, you know, just super competitive, super accurate as well. You know, and I like that even though he is so skinny, he is willing to go after guys and hit them. And maybe he needs to put on some Josh Allen weight before he starts doing that in the NFL. But that's just what really kind of stood out to me when I was watching his film. You know, he said just really fast, great play strength. You know, when he's getting loose in the open field, he's really tough to bring down. Like, and that's saying a lot considering that he is a thinner guy, you know, his build. I think there's a lot to like here, a lot of quality production in college, especially like you were talking about on those deep yardage passes. I'm really pumped about Jaden Daniels here. I was really excited when I watched his film. I think I was more excited watching him than I was anybody else. And I think that's just to say that like Caleb Williams has been so hyped up for so long that like when I watched his stuff, I was like, well, this is what I expect from somebody who has been, you know, pumped up as much as he's been pumped up. But man, I am so excited for Jayden Daniels, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know where else would want him to go. I mean, I don't really love Washington, but like, where else does he go? Does he go to New England? That's gross
That's
too.
terrible. That's worse. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know.
So I don't know. I don't know
I
what the
hope
right.
I hope somebody like trades up or
Yeah.
they take Drake May or like one of these other guys, like just yeah. I mean, he's got to not. I mean, I guess I'd rather have Washington than New England for sure.
Yeah.
They have more weapons immediately, but yeah, no, I think Drake and the type of rushing up if they let him run, which they should.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Quarterbacks that run as well as he does. They it's almost impossible for them to not finish in the top 10. Like
Mhm.
in points per game, like Anthony Richardson, for an example.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't finish the season; he got hurt and all that. But points per game, he was top 3
Yeah.
before he got hurt. Now we don't want Daniels to get hurt, but like
No.
in points per game, it doesn't matter what he's going to have all the rushing yards and all the
Yeah.
rushing scores. So I definitely like Jayden Daniels for sure.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, talk to me about your running back. Who you want to talk about tonight?
Man, okay, so there's a couple of guys that I like. I don't feel like there's really anybody who's really stood out in this
Yep.
class. This might be like my least favorite
Yep.
running back class. But I do love me some Trey Benson, Florida State, 6 foot, 217. He did play at Oregon for a minute. Um, I think everybody needs to, after you're done watching us, of course, go to YouTube, pull up the clip of Trey Benson running against Virginia Tech. I want you to go watch that game because he hit 22 miles per hour on a touchdown run, and it is a phenomenal watch. Go do it. You won't regret it. Tons of production, 25 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. It just his missed tackle rate is just amazing. And the guy is just so explosive. He's one of the ones that has stood out to me in the drafts that I've been doing so far this year. If I am looking to take a rookie running back, I'm taking somebody like a Trey Benson because I feel like wherever he goes, you're almost guaranteed some kind of production there. Some of these guys, I don't know that you can say that, I'm a little bit worried, that, maybe they get on teams, they don't have as good of a year. Somebody as an example, Israel Abanikanda that I was super high on last year. So Scott, there you go. There's your
There's your
Jets.
jet. That's
Yeah,
right.
there's your Jet. Was super pumped about him last year. Thought that he was going to come in and be able to maybe make a name for himself. Brees Hall was kind of coming back from that injury, and then nothing really happened for him. So I feel like that might be the story with a lot of these guys in the draft. But man, I think Trey Benson is going to be one of the ones that actually produces and is fantasy relevant for us.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the prototypical size, right? 6 foot,
Yeah.
216, 215, somewhere around there. I mean, it's great size. So with a guy like that, and he's shown, like you said, the speed, the size, the strength. Sometimes those guys just all they need is an opportunity. I mean, think of
Yeah,
Kyron. Is Kyron Williams better than Trey Benson? Like maybe, like not from like the people who are grading them coming out of the draft, but he just got the ball every freaking play for the Rams last year. You get Benson in a role where he's getting the ball all the time. I mean, in his big knocks are a knee injury 4 years ago, inexperience in pass protection, like, okay, well, whatever. Like, as a runner, I think he's super, super talented.
Right.
And there was another guy that I looked at, again, watched the film. First thing I thought of was contact balance.
Mm-hmm.
He's shedding, like he's guys are hitting him and he's staying up and making runs. And sure enough, everywhere I look, it's his strengths are contact. Like it shows up right on the film immediately.
Yes.
His contact balance. And like you said, his speed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for sure. And I think the running back class might be a little underrated. I mean, I don't know. Again, everyone's so obsessed with the receivers as they should be, and no one cares about running backs in the NFL draft. But like landing spot's all that matters, right? For these guys.
You just need, like you said, you need opportunity. You need to land somewhere where you're either, you've got it right away or you're an injury away. And running back is such a volatile position with injuries. Eventually you're going to get your chance more than likely, right? Because somebody is definitely getting hurt. It just happens every season without fail.
And now you want to hold guys that are almost 2 injuries away. It's like the injuries are absurd. It's crazy.
Well, and if you're in a deep league, like what a lot of the leagues that we play in, you're going to be drafting some of these guys in your redraft leagues. Like you can't wait to go get them on the waiver wire because guess what? They're gone. They gone. They left your August draft, okay, with your last, couple picks is where they went. So, you got to keep these guys on your radar, especially once you find out landing spots and, depth charts and take a look at that because, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to be stuck, looking for replacements and nobody's there for you.
For sure. No, but never. I always have, you'll hear me post it all season on Twitter. I'll never drop a running back ever. Never, ever, never drop a run. If he's there, if he's healthy, even the non-healthy ones, if they're coming back, never drop them because they're an injury away, and these guys are getting hurt walking up. Guys are blowing their Achilles to bits jogging onto the field during the Super Bowl. Like, okay, all right, well.
Who was the running back from Seattle that you drafted that first year that we drafted together in Kentucky? And I told you that you were making up a name.
I know, and I'm gonna forget. I already forgot.
No, and I think too, and I think he had actually passed away last season.
Did he really?
I think so. I think he was in a car accident, something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Alex something, was that his name?
Alex, was it Alex Collins? Is that who it was?
Alex Collins. Yeah, I think. Let me look that up too before I prematurely.
Right, that's right.
I'm gonna Google that real quick.
Yeah, Google that while I'm talking about my next guy here. But yeah, never drop a running back. All right, the running back that I like in this class is Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. Pure speed. What was it? Alex Collins? Yes,
it was Alex, and he did pass away.
No, okay.
Last year. Yeah.
Well, I loved him on my fantasy team. Thank you, Alex.
You did. Well, it just when you said that, it made me think of him. Like not drafting or not a running back, going after looking at those deeper guys.
Yeah.
Because he did end up playing and people were scrambling to get him. But not you because you already had him.
Not me. And I certainly wasn't dropping him because he's a running back. Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. Not super small, 5'11", 210. So he's not a teeny tiny scat back, but he ran a 4.38 40.
Right.
Which for a running back is exceptional at 210 pounds. Athletic score, 9.8. We'll take it. Yards per carry last year was like 7.5 or something absurd. 7.4. He went for over 15 yards on a carry in 14% of his attempts. I mean, he's an absolute explosive running back at not a super small frame, 5'11" to 210. Home run speed, efficient. So some of his cons are he fumbles a lot, which I used to dismiss it a ton, but like him fumbling a lot doesn't determine how good he is. But man, if he gets with the wrong coach, it can you fumble. It's James Cook. I don't know if you remember this in the opener in Vegas. I think you were there. Rams, Bills. James Cook fumbles the first touch he gets ever as a Bill, and we don't see him for like a month. He just gets relegated.
And the entire room just groaned. No. Yeah.
Gross. So hopefully he doesn't get that treatment. But I think this is a guy that's a borderline bell cow. I want to say bell cow. Bell cow used to be 25 to 30 touches. Now, if you can give me the Gibbs role, if you can give me 12 carries and 4 targets a game, like that could be RB1 production again, depending on what team he lands on. And I think he could be that type of back.
Yeah. I feel like you just read all of my notes about Jalen Wright because I agree with you 100% on all of that. So he led college football actually in those yards per carry that you were talking about just a second ago. And I really feel like maybe he could really thrive in a role similar to like Tony Pollard when he was with Zeke, that like lightning to somebody's thunder.
Gibbs. In that Gibbs role,
Montgomery kind of deal. I think that's where I foresee him going. Somewhere like that would be a great landing spot for him. That would just be able to make him shine,
For sure. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Again, it's all about landing spot for these running backs. All right, on to receiver and a guy that I really like, and a guy that I can't believe you texted me this. I'm the president of his fan club. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you stole my guy. But go ahead.
Oh my gosh, Malachi Corley, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. That's right. 5'11", 210. He is the self-proclaimed and absolutely deserves it. The Yak King, ladies and gentlemen, coming in with 8.6 yards per carry or catch there. Excuse me, not carry because he's not a running back. Although, hold up. He could potentially be used in kind of that way, maybe similar to how Deebo Samuel's used, right? He's got 4 career rushing touchdowns. Most of his targets came either behind line scrimmage or in short yardage situations. He is a shorter, thick king, and I think this guy is just one that you should be looking out for. He's so strong. He is so hard to bring down. Like I said, like this guy, I'm super pumped about him. And I really think that I need to just shut up about it because he's just going to keep getting like steamed up, just similar to like what happened last year with me with Marvin Mims. And then I'm over here taking Marvin Mims in like the 6th round in our drafts. And God, we all know how
That's
out.
right. You were like hell bent on being the Marvin Mims owner in every draft. And you just well, listen, Mims is talented, and I don't know what they were. I mean, God, we could turn this into a Marvin Mims. Sean Payton trades up to draft this guy and then doesn't freaking play him.
It's Sean Payton's fault. Can we just agree that everything is just
the same guy that just traded for Zach Wilson? So I mean, that's all you have to say. That's all I have to say about that.
Sean Payton. What are you doing?
But yeah, Corley's a stud. He's got that running back build. I think to me, for him, it depends on who his quarterback is, what the scheme is. That type of thing. He's not an outside X stud receiver, but he's a running back slot Debo-esque type of player for sure. And again, after the show, go on YouTube, look it up. Steve Smith does a great breakdown of Malachi Corley and talks about how he reminds him a lot of himself, what he needs to work on, but things that he's good at. And again, a lot of these small school kid, Western Kentucky. Maybe Farrell can pop on and tell us a little bit about Malachi.
I have family that went to Western Kentucky.
There you go. What do they think about Malachi Corley?
Who doesn't love Malachi Corley? I mean, come on, man. Like just and such a fun interview too. Like I watched some of his interviews at the Senior Bowl and just like what a fun, personable, personality. I mean, like, look, that doesn't mean anything for us, fantasy wise, right? But I think when you get in with a team, you have a good personality like that. People are going to like you. People are going to want you to succeed. And, I think some of those intangibles, shouldn't really be kind of pushed aside.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Big on Malachi Corley, especially Steve Smith kind of sold me on that as well. Limited route tree, fine. No combine testing. A lot of these guys aren't testing at the combine anymore, but you can go see he's a dog out there. And what I was getting at to the smaller school, a lot of these smaller school quarterbacks are terrible. Like you'll see a lot of his highlights where he'll run a drag route and it's an 8-yard catch because the quarterback threw it 3 feet behind him, where you get, like a Jaden Daniels putting it on the numbers. That's a 40-yard touchdown, it's a lot different with guys like that.
Because quarterback's going to go sell insurance next year.
Right.
Quarterback's not going to be like
quarterback will be putting stickers on the boards in Louisville. Right?
Yeah. Like whoever he plays with is going to be significally better.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I don't know who the quarterback is at Western Kentucky. I'm sure you're a very nice individual, but
that's right.
Yeah.
So maybe Scott can tell us. Scott's a big Louisville fan down there.
There we go.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm on board with Malachi Corley. But a guy that I love, and by the way, everyone put in the chat if you want to get a free shot at a $50 best ball team next week or Friday this week. Put Lad in the chat. Lad McConkey, who's the next guy that we're going to talk about. LADD. Lad McConkey out of Georgia. 6 foot, 186 pounds. Projected to go in the second round. Could sneak into the end of the first. Ran a 4.39 40. 36-inch vertical. He's a polished route runner. Went to a big school in Georgia. The career production isn't there. Kind of a late kind of bloomer there, but you can just see he's super clever with it. With his route running is exceptional. Like maybe one of the best route runners in the entire class. Hands exceptional. Some of the best hands you'll find in the entire class. But I think he's a guy, the comparisons, the Adam Thielen comparisons, all that type of stuff, big slot player. Mm-hmm. I think quarterbacks are going to love a guy like him. I think he's going to, and people like who don't, receiving stuff that's not always about the routes and the speed. It's about like the nuance of the position. Like he gets his head around when he should get his head around, stuff like that you can't test. Like quarterbacks are going to love Lad McConkey for sure. I would love my Bills to draft Lad McConkey. Maybe they can trade back in the second and get him. I wouldn't even hate it to pick it at 28 overall. But what do you think about Lad?
So I'm actually looking at the draft order right now to see like where he might like who's drafting around that area, that like end of the first, top of the second, like where could he go? I would love him on the Bills. I think that's a great landing spot too. So the Chiefs draft at 32.
I know.
Could you even? That would be. I mean, like the rich get richer there.
I know. I don't even know if they'll go. So let's talk about that for a second. They've got Rice and listen, we got the attorney on the show. Maybe you can if you have any type of insight on that. But we got Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
And then Kelsey is getting older and all that type of stuff. I don't know if they necessarily need a receiver in the first round, but I don't know. What do you think about the Chiefs?
I mean, if he fell there, that would be, I mean, that'd be great for them.
Sure.
I don't think, okay, so let's just talk about Rashee Rice for a second. Now, look, I am not a criminal defense lawyer.
Right. Yeah,
I'm a lawyer. So I don't, keep people out of jail. I just help divorce them, which our good friend Eric Baughman said you could almost think that that's, pretty similar. And helping.
What if the Chiefs want to divorce Ray Rice? Rashee Rice.
Listen, I don't think anything big is going to come of those criminal charges. Just knowing how the system works, how long it takes to get anything done. I mean, look how long it took for Alvin Kamara's system to work its way through. Yeah. Right. It took forever. I don't think anything is I don't think we're gonna be worried about a suspension here, at the beginning of the season, anything
this
like
season,
that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think his biggest concern is gonna be the civil lawsuits coming after him.
Maybe.
He's gonna be spending a lot of money on attorneys. And that's what he really needs to focus on. But I really don't think we have too much to worry about as far as fantasy wise with him getting suspended or anything. And if at max, what did Kamara get? 3 games?
Yeah, three or four. Yeah, maybe 4, talk down to 3. So something like that. Yeah.
So arguably a lot less serious of a situation, although not completely unserious. I'm not saying it's
sure. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah. So like I don't suspect that it's gonna really, come
effect.
to me.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then I think Rice will, if you don't think it's definitely not going to happen this year, then I don't know. I just feel like they've proven in the past that they traded away Tyreek Hill. Yeah. Right. They Sky Moore isn't very good. Like they don't really care about getting that top receiver. So
no, they don't.
Interesting. So yeah, I think Ladd will be good. On a team that might take him a little bit of time to develop, but I think he's going to end up being a quarterback's best friend and have a nice long, maybe not a superstar career, but a nice long stable career there for sure.
You mentioned Adam Thielen. Who's the first pick in the second round?
The Panther. There you go.
There's I don't know if I would feel bad for Ladd McConkey or not, ending up in that absolute circus of an organization.
I know. What a mess. Oh, that Carolina is just a big Jack, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Jack Holshin, big Carolina Panther fan down there. They're in trouble.
They need all the help they can get, man. Somebody's got to be a fan.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll let you go next here. And talk. I know it's in the wrong order, but I gotta scroll and find my notes on the next guy. But talk about your next receiver.
All right, so I've got Jalen McMillan here. Now I'm like scrolling through because I lost him.
There you go.
Yeah, Jalen McMillan here. Somebody that I didn't do actually a lot of research on until like just recently. 6'1", 197 pounds, had a really great 40 time at 4.47. Look, not only is he fast, great, everybody's fast. Okay. That's fine. Like this whole class I feel is fast, right? That's the first thing anybody says about every single one of these receivers. Awesome. But here's what sets him apart too, is that he can stop on a dime and then he can accelerate right away. So huge vertical threat, super athletic. He can use that ability there to stop and go really quickly to really manipulate defenders and kind of make them look silly, kind of break some ankles. 2022 best season, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, a little bit lower production this year. Primarily your slot guy, right? His average up to target 9.6. So they're not using him as quite the vertical threat that his speed would say that he could be. So they're using him more like in middle of the field. Biggest concern for me, what I see, and this is my favorite stat of all time, Adam, is contested catch rate.
Yeah.
Love a good contested catch rate stat. Poor Jalen does not need the bill here for me because it's 20% over his career. This past season, big fat 0. Okay, it's 0 contested catches. That just says a lot to me when you're a receiver that you can go up and get that ball and be trusted to come down with it. Right. So that is something that kind of makes me a little bit more concerned with him. You see him consistently ranked as like one of those guys, coming in like 15, 16, 17 at rankings, for receivers here. So, and not going to be your top guy, but this class is so loaded that I think everybody's got so much talent. It's not you've got your top guys, right? But then there's so much room for everybody else too to like be productive in fantasy. Like I think we have a lot of options this year when we're doing our drafts.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting his draft stock. Like you said, there's gonna be so many. It's top heavy with these receivers, all first round, half the second round. But by the time some of these guys are gonna fall because teams are like, all right, well, I got my wide receiver in the first or second. Now some of these guys that might be capable or deserving of that might just fall. It seems like I got to get my defensive back. I got to get my safety or whatever. Jalen could fall in that area. And I do completely get the contested catch rate for sure. I think he's going to fit into more of a big slot again in the pro. So I'm not super concerned about the contested part. His breakout age was 20 years old, which is really good. He was injured last year. That might have affected maybe that contested catch rate. He had a great 2022 season where he had 79 catches for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. So I think it's there. And again, last year, Jalen Polk, Rome Odunze, there's a lot of mouths to feed there last year too. Yeah. So again, I don't think he's some top 5 guy, but I think he's a guy that you get in the right system. I didn't want to kind of pick all the top guys that everyone's talking about, but I think his route running smooth. He's a strong athlete, good route runner. Again, more of a big slot, I think. So yeah, that's just kind of a guy that I'm kind of intrigued by. Keep my eye on and who drafts him and who his quarterbacks are going to be.
Well, it's kind of like, some of those guys last year that really popped weren't ones that we were initially talking about right off the bat, right? Like Puka. Who was really talking about Puka? Not that many people, right. Or like DeMario Douglas, right, with the Patriots. Like I didn't really start even like hearing too much about him until training camp started, until all the veteran guys and the Patriots were like, this kid is legit. We love this guy.
Yeah.
So, maybe Jalen McMillan, maybe that's going to be his deal where he lands and, maybe it's just going to be the right fit for him, but maybe he's somebody that we're not necessarily in love with right away, but maybe, has a really good season if he's in the right spot.
Yeah, and a lot of even with a guy like Jalen McMillan, more of a dynasty type of situation where he might, again, the 15th receiver off the board in a draft, you're probably not going to be targeting him in redraft unless he lands in some perfect spot. But I think for dynasty, he's a guy to keep an eye on. Maybe you move him up a little bit there. Again, depending on where he lands. But a guy that probably isn't going to move much higher than he is now. Your receiver out of the same school, no?
Oh yeah, Rome, my boy Rome Odunze. Holy cow! Like, what else can you say about him, right? Like he's phenomenal. Like Marvin, Malik, and then Rome. That's where it is for me with those 3 guys. Really, I just love watching him. And also too, look, this is complete vibes again, right? Just the personality just shined through with him at the combine. Yeah, at the combine, where he had those fun interviews. But man, like he's just got so much to be excited about with him. Such a dynamic player. So I'm a big Rome Odunze fan. And right now, something to think about while you're drafting, right? Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, they're never going to be more expensive than they are today.
I know.
Never. So if I see all these people like draft, like I did draft last night and somebody took, Marvin in the 2nd round. Sure. He is absolutely, I love Marvin Harrison Jr. Absolutely talented, but I don't want any part of him until he gets to a landing spot. And then I can decide, am I willing to spend, what he's going to be valued at that point. But with Rome, I'm cool taking him, early drafts before we know where he lands, because I just think he's going to be productive wherever he goes. I don't think it matters his landing spot. And I think too, with him being the 3rd guy, right, and that kind of tiering of our receivers, he probably has a better chance to land somewhere that's a little bit better of a situation. Like if he comes maybe like Chicago when they get down to their 9th pick, which would be a great spot for him, teaming up there with Caleb Williams, DJ Moore. That would be fantastic. There's a lot of teams that he could help, almost immediately. So big Rome Odunze fan. I'm probably going to be taking him a lot of places if I want to pay that price.
You know what, Stacey, I've actually heard people say that Rome Odunze could be, not a lot, but I know I had Cody Carpentier on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, yo, Rome could be the number 1 receiver in this draft class. It's like, he would be the number 1 receiver in most other draft classes that don't have freaking Neighbors and Harrison. So, I think, landing spot isn't going to matter for his career. I think he'll be fine. But I think as far as like pushing these guys early, these other 2 receivers early, I think that's where he has to be. I think he's a little slight frame maybe, or injury prone maybe a little bit, but I think he's going to be great. I mean, again, we're nitpicking with these guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like we have to like find something to say,
Well, because you're trying to compare him to these top two guys. It's easy to try to nitpick him.
Yeah. But like, I think you're right though. I mean, he absolutely could be a number one in any other class that didn't have, Marv. I saw somebody refer to Marvin Harrison Jr. as Marv the other day, and it just made me think the Wet Bandits from Home.
That's right. The Wet Bandits.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh, I love it. But yeah, that's really great stuff. I think Rome's going to be fine. I think all the guys we talked about will be really cool. And this is going to be like one of the best drafts ever. I mean, because this is a super hyped up like receiver class, quarterback class, Bowers, who we didn't get to the tight ends tonight. But
is there a tight end class besides Bowers?
No, that's right. That's why I didn't bother doing it. Like everyone knows Bowers is the guy. I mean, he's a can't miss superstar at tight end. Where do you think he's going to land? People have said the Jets. I don't know. They've got a lot of weapons there, and Rodgers back. I feel, and Rodgers has never really used the tight end position. Now, Rodgers might be a one and done. He might play 1 year, and so you're not going to pass on Bowers because of Rodgers. But
no,
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I keep hearing that too about him going to the Jets, but I don't know. I just, I mean, look, I'm a Packer fan, so I am very familiar with Aaron Rodgers and his, and not really playing with rookies, as nicely as some other quarterbacks do. So it may not make a difference if he's Brock Bowers, that is, the second coming, for tight ends. But I don't know. The Jets, maybe. I just feel like maybe there's some other, positions there that they could use, help with. Maybe get somebody so that, Aaron Rodgers doesn't, tear something again.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think you're right though. I mean, he probably only is there for one more season, and then, who knows what they're going to do at quarterback. It's not going to be Zach Wilson. That's for sure.
No, it isn't, for sure.
Man, I don't know where Bowers would be good. I'm trying to look at the order here right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm pulling it up now. And now that, I mean, we totally went off the cuff here. That's completely my fault.
I mean, Denver needs somebody. I mean, Greg Dulcich really hasn't been it.
Yeah. Bears have Matt, so I don't think it's going to be it. Falcons, I have my guy there. Pitts.
Yeah. I love Pitts this year so much. I tell you, I'm so excited for Kyle Pitts this year. I hope this is it.
I know.
Yeah.
He's finally got a quarterback. He's hopefully they got rid of Arthur Smith. Thank God, that freaking dummy. He's going to go to Pittsburgh and ruin that whole offense.
He really is. He's going to ruin poor Pratt Freiermuth. And I tell you what, if Brandon Ayuk ends up in Pittsburgh, like I keep hearing all these people say on the internet, I'm going to lose it because I think they're just going to ruin him. Like absolutely ruin it if he goes to Pittsburgh. So please, Brandon, if you're out there, you're listening, please don't go to Pittsburgh. Stay where you are.
Stay home.
Work it out. You can work it out. It's okay.
That's right. Figure it out. But yeah. So everyone, but before we go, make sure you type LAD in the chat, LADD for Lad McConkey, for a shot at a $50 entry into the best ball on Friday. Stace, great. Thanks for joining me. This was fun.
This is great.
Isn't the first time. It will not be the last this year. I mean, we're only in, what is this, April? We're still in April. We got a whole season to go.
Whole off season to go.
That's right. What do you got planned? Where can people find you? What are you doing this summer? What's up?
Yeah. So majority of my content is going to be over on Fantasy and Frames. That is where I do my draft show on Thursdays. You can come draft with us, hang out. Obviously not this Thursday because it's the draft.
The draft.
But you can find me at Stacy_Perez 83 on the Twitter. Tuesdays we do the best ball show with Club Fantasy. So I'm all over the place this year. So just look me up on the Twitter machine, the X, whatever it is that you're calling it. I don't like X. I don't like the X. I just want it to go back to the Twitter with a little bird, but nobody asked my opinion. So that is where you can find me.
Agreed. Will we find you at the Expo?
Yes, I'll be at the Expo.
Obviously.
Can't wait. I already have my tickets. I was so pumped for the Expo. I already got everything all planned out. Going to be in Vegas this year, and I promise that I'm not going to wimp out like I did last year.
Oh, listen, that's for the after show talk. You know what I mean? People, you want to hang out with Stace and I and Chris and Joel and the whole crew out in Vegas. some of the best nights ever. Just drafting, grinding, going out to dinner, hanging out. Vegas is the best. And listen, nobody does it better than the FFWC at the Circa Las Vegas. I mean, the best sports book by a mile. It's like 2 or 3 levels. The food is, no one does better food for the Thursday night viewing party. Now we have a Friday night viewing. Stacey, 2 viewing parties this year, right? I mean, you have to. I mean, Thursday night game, Friday night game in Brazil.
I've never been to the Circa.
Oh,
I've never been.
I'm not going to let you leave without going to the Circa. They got the Circa swim. If you want to, if you want to jump in the pool and watch some football, I don't know if you're into that, but they also have the owner suites down there that they always get. It's an incredible time. It's going to be so much fun.
Let's go. Everybody come out to Vegas and hang out with us.
Obviously.
We're doing it.
For sure. It's
Vegas Expo. I can't wait. I can't wait for the last part of the summer. Just, that like end of July with the Scott Fishbowl drafts, and then August and September. Like, I love it. It's my favorite. This is a love draft week, but man, that's probably my favorite time of year.
And I hate wishing the whole summer away to get to because then you draft and like, oh God, summer's gone. Like what's just happened? But listen, fall's the best season anyways.
Love it.
It's football season. So Stacey, thank you so much for joining me.
Having me.
And thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next week here on the Full Time Fantasy Podcast.